Nick is a superhero, and it's only a matter of time until Marvel brings out a character called Nik Halik. He's going to be presenting today how to create massive cash flow, outsource your life, and live a 7-day weekend lifestyle. You have to Google him to get all the stuff, and I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nik Halik.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. To Alex and Esther and Dave. Listen, and to all the listeners around the world in what is about 80 different countries around the world. My name's Nik Halik. Now, I guess accent-wise, I do speak a little fast like an Esther, but it means that we're incredibly passionate. I mean, I'm Greek. My parents are Greek. I was born in Australia, but I was raised in the United States. I actually moved to California when I was 17 years of age after I finished high school with about $30,000 cash. I just moved to Hollywood, California, but in those days it was a very different story because it was music that was my one of my childhood and ambitions, and I guess I relocated to California to get signed up in a record label and just tour around the world. So basically, this particular presentation is all about this. It's how to outsource your life and live that 7-day weekend lifestyle. And what is so important about this is a lot of us, we've sort of bought that, that I guess that myopic or that the situation where we're basically working a job, working 5 days a week, and we have 2 days off. See, my concept of the world is this. I truly believe there is a 7-day weekend lifestyle, and today I'm going to give you a $1 million blueprint. I repeat, a $1 million blueprint. And it's all about becoming a celebrity, increasing your credibility, your visibility, your wealth, your brand, your net worth, and just raising your persona and finding your voice in the world, whatever too. So some time ago, I wrote a book called The Thrillionaire. Now, the media has dubbed me as the Thrillionaire in relation to how I live my life, my exploits, and pretty much the way I invest. Now, look, I mean, I've been in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean when I had lunch on the shipwreck of the actual Titanic. I mean, I even had an internet connection out there. I go to Antarctica each year when I take clients, and we do live events in Antarctica, and I have a live internet connection there. So for me, I'm a cyber gypsy. I traverse the planet, I travel around the world, and I still operate and work on my various businesses around the world. Now here's a bit of a snapshot of a picture from the past. This is me when I first landed in Hollywood, California, and that was my initial motivation. I had those massive dreams about becoming a rock star. And we got signed up in my late teens, and I'm probably about age 18 in this particular photo. Very long hair. It was the rock star days, and we toured around the world. We did massive gigs, performing in front of 40,000, 50,000 individuals, and this is pre-internet days kind of thing too. But we did the old school ways. I mean, we probably performed about 4,500 performances. That's 4,500 gigs around the world. I was generating some great money. I was getting some royalties, merchandise, record sales, and I generated over $1 million in my late teens, early 20s. And I guess I could have become very semi-retired and just retired, I guess. But for me, I've always been very, very ambitious, and for me there was more to life. And I guess this was pretty much the start of the marketing of who I am today, what have you too. So fast forward a couple of years, I left the music industry in the late 1990s, and I moved to Moscow, Russia. And in 2003, I enrolled in the Russian orbital space program. Now, it was quite expensive, mind you. It's about $3 million to train with the Russians, and about $27 million for your flight to the International Space Station. Now, I am self-funded. I'm not government-funded. I'm a self-funded entrepreneur. I've been investing since I was age 14. I bought my first residential properties as a teenager. And, I mean, I wasn't born into wealth, but I was born rich in human potential, whatever too. And probably the biggest buzz right now in social media and around the world is something that I teach. It's called the Nik Theory. There's been a lot of buzz in a lot of the world's press, newspapers and magazines, a lot of radio programs around the world. And the Nik Theory, today what you're about to hear is a brief snapshot in relation to the Nik Theory too. Well, we're going to expand upon that as we progress today too. So allow me to show you how to step into my life for a brief moment over here. Now, I have visited over 132 countries around the world. Of the 198 countries that exist, I've rocketed to the edge of space. I've had lunch on the bow of the shipwrecked Titanic. I've climbed the highest 7 summits of the world, including a halo jump off Mount Everest. I work 1 hour per day on my business. That is, I'm monitoring and working on my business from a farm. I take 4 months vacation each year, and I've personally mentored over 300,000 clients. Numerous television appearances around the world, newspapers, magazines, and a lot of videos across YouTube and the web, and a lot of newspaper articles in relation to my space exploits, how much money I've actually invested in my crazy, wacky adventures from around the world. And you know, like I said, I'm self-funded. I'm not a government-funded astronaut. I am a self-funded civilian astronaut. And if you were to simply do this, Google my name, probably the first thing that comes up is on the Wikipedia, my fan pages, my Twitter, LinkedIn, my blogs, and it's also a great way. So I encourage everybody, type your name up and do a social media web stock take in relation to your persona, your name, and your brand. And then type up your name, and then click on images and see what actually comes up. For example, that's me, for example, there. And Twitter, you're more than welcome to liaise with me. My handle's at Nik Halik, and for me, I've got a very large Twitter following, all organic. And I've got various fan pages around the world too in relation to people reaching out to me because I'm building my ecosystem, my tribe of fans around the world. I'm also a big speaker. I do a lot of keynote speaking around the world. I do a lot of promoting around the world. I'm also a promoter. And I speak on some of the biggest stages on the planet. And I normally speak at least, you know, every few weeks I speak to audiences of at least 3,000 to 4,000 or 5,000 individuals around the world too. I've now done quite a few TED events where I speak at TED. I love TED. I love the whole concept of TED events, and I speak to as many as I can too because I get invited to them. I've spoken on the biggest stage, whether it's with Clinton, Branson, Trump, or Schwarzenegger. And early 2014, I'm going on a tour for a couple of months with Oprah Winfrey, showing my life story and my teachings and high content-rich information with Oprah too. So right now, let's do this. So let's reset our social media and personal branding thermostat over here. And the real deep secret about wealth is as follows. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of us, we've been listening to a lot of different strategies about web, a lot about social media. But here's the thing, 100 strategies is probably equivalent to what I'm about to teach you right now. Listen to that very, very carefully. The most important thing is this. If you're not different in the marketplace, if you're not able to differentiate yourself in relation to how you're perceived in the marketplace, then effectively what you are doing is we are drowning in a sea of sameness. There are so many individuals just regurgitating on the same thing over and over and over again. And it's the law of diminishing intent, doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different outcome. So a lot of us, we're basically doing the same thing, and there's nothing that really stands out. And what I say to you is this: you need more wowfication, you need more blingification, you need more spunkification in relation to how to create that wowness in your life. So at all times, first up, you need wow factor. You need to create wow factor and be very, very unique in relation to what you do, in relation to your product, in relation to your services in the marketplace. Then on top of that, your social media and all those other different strategies you can incorporate, they are simply amplification signals to amplify your what? To amplify your influence in the marketplace and what have you. Now, listen very, very carefully over here. In relation to my book, when I launched my book, when I did my book launch, now most individuals when they do a book launch, how do they do it? Well, let me share with you what I did. First of all, I did my book launch in zero gravity. In fact, this is me in zero gravity, and I'm with my book. Now, have a listen to this. On the International Space Station, that's orbiting Earth, 300 miles above the Earth, about 100 miles shy of the radiation belt. It's orbiting the Earth every 90 minutes, doing about 25,000 kilometers per hour. That's 18,500 miles per hour. And every day, you get to view 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every day. Now, on the International Space Station, once again, you need to create that wow factor about who you are. And for example, a book is probably the best 200-page business card you can ever have on this planet. Now listen carefully here. This is a photo. My good friends over here, this is Dimitri, and this is Leon over here. There's a library of about 9 books on International Space Station, of which my book is actually one of them over here. And you can see over here, these astronauts just recently were able to do a photo shoot with my book on board the International Space Station in zero gravity. Also, I've also got the first ever recorded book testimonies in relation to my book by astronauts up on International Space Station over here. And you can find that video on YouTube. My point is this: you are unique and special, truly unique and special. In fact, a single sperm, check this out, a single sperm has 37.5 meg of DNA information in it. That means a normal ejaculation represents a data transfer of around 1,587 gigabytes. That's how unique we are. That's how truly special we are. So at all times, create that wow factor about who you are, your persona, your mannerisms, and how you're perceived in the marketplace at all times. And a lot of individuals, when they regurgitate the same thing over and over again, and they're not really different to anybody else in the marketplace, this is what happens. They feel boxed in. In other words, they're basically gravitated towards the same mass, critical mass of individuals in the world, and everyone's doing the exact same thing. And here's the interesting thing. The rules for getting out of your box are written clearly on the outside of the box. In other words, you need to think differently. Change the paradigm shift, change the polarity of everything that you do in your life. And all I simply do is this: do the exact polar opposite of what everybody else does. And I'll give you an example over here. 2 individuals who do the exact same thing do this. They suffer from financial cancer. In other words, when you think about it, there are so many individuals out there, all they want to do is they just want to earn an income. And they've been programmed to have one single source of income. And what happens? They use after-tax dollars from income and they spend it on their lifestyle. And where everything in your lifestyle is guaranteed to lose your money. So what I do is this: I have many, many different income streams. And my brand, my persona, my profile in the world is what underpins my entire weighting in relation to my products and my services worldwide. And if you look at the wealth matrix over here, for me, it's all about increasing more income. Then I use my income to go out there in the marketplace to invest. See, there are individuals who can make some money, but an individual who makes money is not an individual who knows how to invest. So I use all my money from all the generation, all the cash flow generation from all the different strategies, then I use that money to invest in. And when I invest, I want to know what the return on investment is upfront day one. Next, I utilize those funds to invest in more highly aggressive type strategies. Then the money generated in my highly aggressive strategies, in momentum, that's the money that basically fuels and funds and services my lifestyle. And it's really important because as an internet marketer, most individuals just know how to make an income. They have no idea about growth or momentum or in relation to knowing how to invest. Once again, your comfort zone is where most individuals are, and that's where 95% of the inhabitants on planet Earth are. Where the real magic happens is when you change the polarity. And I want to share with you something very, very powerful here. This in effect is my ascension model, okay? And I want to use myself as the case study over here and give an example how you can basically build your brand, amplify it, and then take it to the next level. Now, I'm not talking to you about making a few $1,000s a month, because I want to teach you $1 million blueprint. And this is my $1 million blueprint, and I just want you to internalize it on a cellular level and see how it actually resonates with you. Now check this out. First up, we've got your brand. We've got social media influence over here. Okay. We've got web opt-in registrations, and we've got live event interaction. And I'll show you exactly how each one of those actually works. Now, your brand, first of all, who are you? I mean, why should you be remembered? What is your legacy? What is your body of work? What is so truly unique about you? So who are you? I want you to really think about that. Your personal branding is what's going to allow you to stand out there in the marketplace. And I'll give you a classic example over here. Edison and Tesla over here. I mean, we all know them in relation to what? Electricity, okay? At the turn of the century. Well, who was far more famous? Was it Edison or was it Tesla? And the answer is Edison. Why? Because Edison had a voice. He had more confidence out there. He was a networker, and he had governments out there. He had the most richest industrialists who were basically financially backing him. In other words, underpinning all his research and all his experiments. Tesla was far more intelligent, but Edison was far more profound in relation to his influence. In other words, he utilized all the amplification signals back then to basically convey his message and his experience in relation to the way he perceived electricity. And now we all know that Tesla was far more greater, but unfortunately, Tesla was recognized as he wasn't recognized as he is right now. And my point is this, it's all about your voice, it's all about your persona, it's all about your brand. Now this is really interesting. I call this the 80-20 rule, okay? 20% of buying decisions are based on your body of work, products, and services. 80% of buying decisions are based on your brand, your voice, your tone, and how you make people feel. In other words, people are buying you. They're not so much buying the actual product or the service that you're aligned with. That's a really important distinction over here. Remember, well, I'm not teaching you how to make a few $100s or a few $1,000s a month. Anybody can do that. There are young 12-year-olds who can do that. If you are savvy and you want to be far more sophisticated, what we are talking about is, just really accelerating and becoming far more profound in relation to building our brand and our voice and really developing the timbre and the tone of our voice and our actual message. Hence the 80-20 rule over here. Now, I then use social media. Now, social media is this. I outsource all of my social media. In fact, most of my life is now outsourced to my virtual assistants around the world in over 3 different countries, okay? Now with social media, look, you've been hearing about this. We've got, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever too. And there's a lot of conduits, a lot of different platforms in the world which allows you to simply amplify your signal. Now, so what first up? I've got my brand, okay? My brand is pretty much, my brand underpins everything. Then social media simply amplifies it to the next level. And this is basically where I've become a superhero of my tribe of raving fans. In other words, I'm developing an ecosystem via social media. That is my e-commerce habitat for individuals where I can personally immerse with them. Now, there is over 1.2 billion individuals. That's social media penetration around the world over here, okay? And another example of social media is this. Use VK.com. In Russia, VK has at least 195 million accounts. That's over 43 million daily users. Once again, expand into the Eastern Europe, into the Russian network and what have you too. And look, when it comes to your social media, be able to post in different languages, whether it's Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, and obviously English. So once again, we're using social media as the platform. Now, when it comes to social media, I'm using my outsourced assistants. And this is what we've got. We've got a 24/7, 365-day-a-year outsourced operation. In other words, we have individuals that are posting and posting and posting, immersing in Twitter, liking, posting Facebook articles, blog articles. We have everything going 24/7. That way we get massive social media penetration. Now here's the key. Everything on social media is not yours, okay? For example, on Facebook, if you're building a Facebook fan page and you have 500,000 individuals, well, let me tell you, Facebook owns all those leads, not you. How many of us do this? We've got all these individuals, all these social media circles or what have you, but we haven't transferred them or taken them to the level of what? Creating an email database. Hence, what you need to do is this. You need to take your social media to a web opt-in registration form via squeeze pages or whatever too. So what I'm doing now is this. I'm taking all my social media ecosystem, my entire social media ecosystem, and I'm doing what? I'm taking it to my websites, my squeeze pages. Then I'm segmenting into different market sector groups because my companies, we assist clients in relation to property, virtual businesses, branding, stock market, wealth creation opportunities, internet marketing, and a lot of live events around the world. So it's important that you create your web opt-in process to take all your social media individuals and your influence and you take them onto your what? Onto your mailing list, your database. You build your email database as you do not own your tribe on social media. Ensure you opt them into your email database. Remember, you use social media to leapfrog your tribe onto your mailing list. Social media is the foreplay. Now, we get to connect a virtual umbilical cord in relation to our buying ecosystem of clients where we know everything about them. Remember, social media is the conduit for sales over here. And what I do next is this. I've got all my live events. Live events are great, right? Because that's the kinesthetic connection over here, because this is where you get to hug, kiss, and you get to shake and meet your what? Your clients. In other words, you're building their rapport. Remember, if you're going out to generate new leads, it's very expensive. Work with your clients, really build that rapport, that foundation. Wear down that facade, Remember, they come to you as a suspect, to a prospect to a client when they purchase any of your products, goods or services, and then from there you make them an affiliate, a licensee or a franchise business part owner in relation to your what? Your brand over here. And that's what I do with all my live events from around the world. I bring them in with different squeeze pages, live events. We have live events in 17 different countries around the world in 4 different languages. The stock market, internet, business to real estate once again. But remember, it starts with finding your voice. What is your voice? How will you be remembered by it? I mean, what is your legacy going to be? And when you think of your voice, what is your mission statement? What is your vision? For example, mine is to provide a breakthrough for freedom-seeking, free-spirited visionaries, change agents, rebels, rock stars, entrepreneurs, investors, and pioneers. So once again, what's your mission statement? I mean, in 10 words or less, describe what you do. What is your business? What do you do on a day-to-day basis, whatever you? Remember, you be yourself because everyone else is taken. And once again, that live event interaction, that's where I get to immerse myself and meet my clients. Why? Because then I can start to dial into who I am, what I do, and then I have an entire suite, an entire catalog of different products from different sectors of the community, from cash flow to personal development to internet marketing to brand to business to basically doing business anywhere on the planet, whatever you do. And the most important thing about building your brand is this. Most individuals on the planet, they suffer from what? Invisibility. 97% of people are invisible. And when you think about this, what's the fastest way to go from invisibility to visibility? It's simple. Have your own book. And conventional wisdom means this. You sell your book. Wrong. You don't write a book to sell a book. You write a book because the book sells you. And remember, your book means your voice will be heard. In other words, you're finding your voice. Okay? And it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And the big insight is this. If you are important, you've written a book. So if you've written a book, you must be important. And the easiest way, I'm referring to how to blingify your life, that blingification, that spunkification, that wowfication is to what? Write a book, the best 200-page business card, which is all about your brand. Remember, it's the cure for invisibility. It's the cure. And this is basically how you run your ecosystem. And you amplify it to the squeeze pages, to the web opt-ins, to your mailing list, and then your live events worldwide. Now, in the spirit of Christmas and in the spirit of absolute goodwill over here, I've got some phenomenal gifts for you over here, normally valued at around $1,995, and it's going to be free for everybody over here. So I'm going to give you each gift over here, and you can go to the website and you can start to download this. But first up, the website, the URL is MiddleEastInternetSummit.com/Nik, N-I-K. So bonus number 1, my gift is this. I'm going to provide you this. Now, I have my entire virtual assistant team. We run a very boutique operation, and these virtual assistants specifically work with me, and I also offer them to my clients, my business clients and my branding clients around the world. I'm going to give you access to my virtual assistant team, and my concierge team will look after you. In other words, you will get 1 free virtual assistant, and you will have 30 hours. Now think of this. Imagine what you can do with somebody else, another employee working for you for 30 hours. So you're going to get this, okay? So it's a phenomenal gift. I mean, there's a lot of intrinsic work in relation to this offer. Number 2, what you're going to get is this. You'll get the Connect Me ebook over here, all about social media, dominance, and the power of 3 over here, okay? And the mega bonus is this. Check this out right now. you'll be invited. You're going to get 2 VIP free tickets to attend my Social Media Revolution event anywhere in the world, okay? These are very, very powerful events, and they're incredibly popular, and some of the sharpest minds on the planet will be there in attendance over here too. So there's the URL, MiddleEastInternetSummit.com/Nik, and it's got this amazing epic manual over here. So that's the website you need to go to over here. When you get down there, click down the bottom, secure that, download the ebook, and one of our concierge boutique officers will make contact with you about organizing your very own virtual assistant to start helping you with your brand and amplifying your signal and your influence and really personifying yourself in the marketplace in relation to your product and your service. And that is from me. Thank you so much, guys, Alex, Ernesto, and Dave, and to all the community listening right now.